You know the scene, right? It's bedtime, the house is finally quiet, the lights are turned down low, and then all of a sudden, your child, who was perfectly fine 2 minutes ago, is absolutely convinced there's a monster in their closet. If you've ever felt totally helpless in that moment, well, you've come to the right place. We're going to dive into the really incredible reasons behind this common fear, and more importantly, what you can actually do to help.
First things first, just take a deep breath. You are so not alone in this. I mean, look at this number. A staggering 74% of kids between 4 and 6 years old report being afraid of imaginary creatures. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's actually a sign that their brain is developing exactly as it should be.
But that's the real question, isn't it? If it's so normal, why does it feel so intense and overwhelming? The sheer panic in their eyes can feel completely out of proportion. To get why, we've got to take a peek inside the incredible and kind of messy developing mind of a 5-year-old. Okay, this right here is the heart of the matter. Think of it like this. Your child's brain is going through a massive software update. It's moving from one way of seeing the world to a completely new one. And you know how those updates can be, right? A little glitchy. And for them, that glitchiness really shows up at night.
So picture them living with one foot in two totally different worlds. They're starting to leave the land of pure make-believe, but they haven't quite landed in the world of cold, hard logic yet. They are quite literally caught in the middle. And this really shows you that shift in action. See, at age 4, magic is the answer for everything. But by age 6, they start asking, okay, but how does it really work? And your 5-year-old? Well, they're ping-ponging back and forth between those two ways of thinking. You can imagine how confusing that must be for them.
I just love this term, naive skeptics. It perfectly captures this internal tug-of-war. So in broad daylight, when you're there and the lights are on, their logical brain can say, yep, okay, monsters aren't real, got it. But then the sun goes down, they're tired, they're alone, and all that logic just goes right out the window. Their emotional, imaginative brain completely hijacks the system.
Okay, so on top of this whole transitional brain thing, there's another really powerful force at play that we need to talk about. It's called magical thinking, and it can turn a simple thought into a terrifying reality for your kid. You have to understand, for a preschooler, thinking about something feels a lot like doing it. So when that image of a monster pops into their head, it doesn't just feel like a random thought. No, it can feel like they summoned it. The thought itself feels dangerous, like it's actually real and in the room with them. And this isn't just about monsters either. The legendary psychologist Jean Piaget, he actually pointed this out. He said kids this age can feel real guilt and fear if they have an angry thought about their brother or sister, because they're terrified it might actually come true. That's just how powerful this magical thinking really is.
Okay, so we've established these fears are totally normal. But I know a lot of parents still have that nagging feeling like, is this really normal or is it something more? So how do you know? How can you tell when a typical phase might be crossing the line into something like clinical anxiety?
And this number might surprise you. Research actually suggests that about 20% of preschoolers could meet the criteria for an anxiety disorder. So if you're feeling like your child's fears are on another level, this number is here to tell you that you're not imagining things. For a significant number of kids, this is a source of genuine, serious distress.
All right, so here's the key difference. It really comes down to context and impact. On one hand, you have what we call normative fear. It's age-appropriate stuff, monsters, the dark, and you can usually manage it with a little reassurance. But on the other hand, you have a potential disorder, and that's when the fears might seem a little off for their age, or they're causing huge problems in daily life, like they absolutely refuse to go to school. And crucially, your reassurance just doesn't seem to help.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. Because here's the really cool part. That super-powered, vivid imagination that's cooking up all these scary monsters, that is the exact same tool we're going to use to beat them. We're going to look at some proven tools that work with how their brain works right now, not against it.
So check these out. These 3 approaches are killer for this age group because they don't just try to reason with the fear. That doesn't work. Instead, they tap into the power of stories, of play, and of building up bravery one tiny step at a time.
Now this first one, it's way more than just reading a nice, calming story. It's about finding books where a character is dealing with the exact same fear, like being scared of the dark, and then you watch them figure it out. What this does is it gives your kid a cognitive script, like a blueprint for how to be brave. They see someone else do it in the story, and suddenly it feels possible for them too.
Oh, I absolutely love this one. You get your child to draw the monster.
Right away, you've taken this huge, scary, abstract thing that's in their head, and you've trapped it on a piece of paper. You've externalized it. And then you mess with it. You give it a silly hat, or pink polka dots. You give it a squeaky voice. Suddenly, your child is in control. They have power over the thing that was terrifying them just a minute ago.
Okay, this next one is all about teaching their brain, slowly and gently, that the dark is actually safe. The key here is you do not just throw them in the deep end. That's a disaster. Instead, you start where they're comfortable, and you make tiny, tiny changes. Every little step is a win. It builds their confidence, and it literally retrains their nervous system to not freak out.
Okay, let's do a quick recap. What are the things that really help? The big takeaways. Number 1, always validate the feeling. I see you're scared. It's huge. Then, stick to a solid, calming bedtime routine like glue. It screams safety. And make sure you praise every little bit of bravery you see. Finally, once you've reassured them, you're safe, help them pivot. Help them point that amazing imagination towards something happy.
And just as important, here's what not to do. Telling them there's nothing to be afraid of, that just tells them you don't get it. Doing these big elaborate monster checks under the bed, that can actually backfire because it kind of suggests that, yeah, maybe there is a monster to find. And you definitely don't want to let them avoid the dark completely, or they'll never learn it's okay. And please, never ever force them into a situation that terrifies them. That will only make it 1,000,000 times worse.
So, if there is one single thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Your child's imagination, it's not the problem. It is their superpower. And our job, as their parents, is to help them learn how to use that power for courage, not just for fear.
Look, right now, the story playing in their head is that the dark is scary and monsters are real. But by using that incredible imagination as your ally, you can become their co-author. You can help them write a brand new story, a story where they are brave, where they are safe, and where they are the hero at the end.